Hi there, everybody. Destin here. Still sort of figuring out the live streaming thing, but thank you for joining me. I did say that this would be at 6 o'clock. Just assume I'm going to be an hour late to everything. I need to work on my punctuality. But thank you for joining me. Shout out to X Wolf, a supporter in chat. Quinn, it looks like, is there. Hello, you were first. Rick Tone says hey. Flash Gordon says hey. Game and Ninja says hello. It's good to have everybody here. Today we're going to be talking about the news of the week. What I like to do with these videos is usually on Monday things are pretty slow. So I was like, well, how could I fill that gap with something interesting? And I thought, you know what? I'll do a live stream after work around 6 or 7 o'clock and talk about the gaming news of the last week, or if anything has developed. So jumping right into it, I usually like to let people sort of come into chat because we do this live. But I also just want to get right into it. There was a story this week about game preservation involving Destiny. And then there was also a story about Metroid Dread, and there was some Halo stuff this week that we're going to discuss. But I think the trickiest one is going to be Jenny. Hello. The trickiest one is going to be probably the Kotaku one. I'm going to do my best not to go crazy, but I want to talk about why I feel like this one was just so far off base for me and for many, many readers the first time reading it. So I'm going to show you the tweet, what they put out, and just talk about just the overall industry reaction to this. Now, they said Metroid Dread is already running great on Switch emulators. And that's one part of the story. As you can see, Ray Apollo said right away, as a Metroid fan, that was not very nice of you. Now, this article came out like a day or two after the game came out, and it goes into detail about which emulators you can use and etc. Now, I did my best not to actually, because I don't want to support an article that goes out of the way to talk about how to emulate a game that just released. I want more Metroid games, and I feel like this is a big slap in the face in multiple ways, not only to game devs and the idea of us getting games in the future, but people who would argue about game preservation being important. I feel like this is a detriment to their argument when you post something about emulating games so close. And real quick, Kotaku wasn't the only outlet that posted this. People feel like everybody's dogpiling on Kotaku, and I'm going to get into that a little bit in a moment because, and honestly, I've thought about making this video for a while. I'm just going to talk about it conversationally, but I feel like they've been missing the mark pretty surprisingly over the last few days, but they're getting a lot of clicks because of it. Now, this commenter said the Kotaku article getting its video taken down by Nintendo is hilarious. He says, watch Metroid Dread running on PC thanks to emulators. Video unavailable. Now, this isn't to say I've done everything perfect my whole career or I've never made a mistake or anything like that. But this one in particular, it just felt really just so off base for Kotaku. It felt so off base for any publication to be talking about it. And I believe PC Mag or PC Gamer, one of those outlets, also wrote an article, which also got a lot of guff. I think a lot of us just think of Kotaku when we actually remember a time when that website was run by the industry leaders. I know back in the day, a long time ago, Crescente was the lead there, and he was like the guy online when it came to gaming news. And you know, that title has sort of changed over the years, but yeah. So eventually they did update the article, and they said an earlier version of this story was understood by many readers to be a direct suggestion to illegally download this just released game. We regret this interpretation. Kotaku believes emulation is a vital part of the world of gaming, not least when it comes to game preservation, while not directly encouraging anyone to break the law and download games they have not purchased. We believe our readers are intelligent adults capable of making such choices for themselves independently of us. And then at the beginning of their article, they did put, thank God for pirates, emulators, modders, and hackers. Reminder, this was, 2 days after the game had been out. So yeah, if you want to play the rest of the Metroid franchise and don't want to shell large amounts of money on old consoles and games, your best bet is emulation, as is often the case. Nintendo, it's a fair criticism that Nintendo doesn't make their games readily available, but I mean, you could. I was going to say Disney. Disney used to vault their tapes and like the VHS tapes, and you could only buy the tapes at certain times, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that gives you an excuse to emulate a game. For me, the game preservation argument is damaged by this article because it makes it seem like it's just, yeah, it's okay to emulate a brand new game. And it's really not, in my opinion. Like it's barely been out. There's games out there that you just can't access anymore that are available for download. There's like no way that you could ever pay whoever owns the license or whatever. Games from like the old PC games I'm talking about, they just don't exist anymore. There's no store you can go to. There's no place there's no way to get them. I think when you start folding in your argument about game preservation with the idea of emulating a brand new game, you're actually damaging the argument for game preservation because it just looks like it looks nastier. It doesn't look good, right? And then what else? Oh, and then everybody has been very upset about this. They feel like it was promoting piracy. They feel like, and then some people were also saying, you know, oh, why are you defending $1 billion Nintendo company? I'm just like, well, you're talking about stealing a game. It's stealing a brand new game, basically. And that's problematic. So trying to keep my personal opinion out of it as much as I possibly can. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to look at what our other outlets are doing and just poo-poo on it all the time. But I wanted to talk about this one because the reaction was so strong and it just seems so off base to me. And I think part of that is because Patricia Hernandez, when she joined, I think a lot of us were really, really excited to see what was going to happen with the site, how they were going to change their direction. She wrote this big, long editorial that really reminded me of like why I love talking about gaming and making videos. And I was actually really inspired almost by what she had wrote. And I think a lot of people were really excited. But then since that has come out, and I encourage you to read Patricia's initial post from 6/29/21. It's about their direction with the website. But then we get like Call of Duty dev visiting Europe, shooting all guns was hard work, you know, throwing shade sort of at the idea that recording gun sounds or shooting old guns isn't actually hard work. I don't know anything about sound design, but I would never disparage somebody else's career telling them that your job is easy. That's just so, I get depressed even thinking about like, look, I know Glenn Schofield's a rich guy. He doesn't care what Kotaku thinks, but imagine you sign on to the internet one day and someone's like, your job's easy. Stop saying your job's hard. It's so easy. Anybody could do it. Oh, boo-hoo you. I'm just like, oh. And then if you're going to preview Far Cry 6, at least do it right. This one was sort of saying how the author would have preferred to see all of the previews look like and how he didn't like how any of them were written. But the problem was he left out a lot of the previews written by people who called out the exact things that they wanted him to call it. So it was another one really, really off base with the community. And then the last one that I just disagreed with, and this one's more of a personal opinion. The Halo Infinite test flight was a buggy, frequently hilarious mess. And it's just like, who said that? Like that again, I'm just like, what? Like, where's this coming from? Because that's not what I experienced. And that's not what I saw people experiencing. So the reason I particularly didn't like the Metroid article though, was because I think if there is an argument for game preservation, I think that has done more damage to that argument than any other article that I have seen. And PC Mag is also guilty of it. And people are pointing out, well, how come Kotaku's getting so much guff? Kotaku's getting so much guff because I think people expect a higher level of professionalism from Kotaku, and they're disappointed when they see that not happen, you know? Yeah. And that's sort of been my 2 cents on the whole situation. It's just like devs don't work hard when they record. So they attack a developer saying that working on sound design isn't real work. They talk about how great emulating Metroid Dread is, and make it, thank God for pirates and hackers and everything. They say that nobody writes about Far Cry 6, right? And these just feel, they don't feel great to read. They don't feel like Kotaku anymore. It's something else. I have this crazy theory. I'm like, I think Kotaku is writing this stuff to see what kind of reaction they get out of people. And then somewhere further down the line, they're going to be like, all right, the study is over. Here's what we found by writing these articles that were sensational for a year. And this is our take. And I see people, I have a lot of filters on my channel to block out like swear words and things like that in chat, try and keep it clean, right? People are saying like Kotaku is bad. They've always been bad. And that's not my goal with this piece. X-Wolf wrote, no offense to IGN, but this is why I listen to YouTubers like Legacy Killa and Zalker. And then Enrique says Kotaku is biased against anything but PlayStation content, like everyone else mentioned. They're desperate for clicks. Are they though? Like, I don't know. This doesn't seem like a desperation for clicks. This just seems like a fundamental stance that's either, there's two things going on. And I know I'm super rambly with this story. It's because I'm trying not to do the thing where I just shit on another publication that's trying to figure stuff out. Right. And, but I will say, I feel like these are way off base. These don't feel tonally at all like who are they speaking to? These Far Cry 6 previews were all bad from all the other outlets. Like, it's just, that's strange to me, right? Like, what's the purpose of that article? Because there were other people out there who did do a lot of work on their previews that hit the tone that they were going for. Grizzly Bear King says, I think we should make a distinction with emulation and piracy. I rip my game files and emulate it because I paid for the game, and it's my right to do so. It's currently how I keep playing Metal Gear Solid 4 better than it runs on PS3. Yeah, that's a slippery slope. I don't want to get into my personal opinions about emulation and piracy and stuff like that. I think it's a little less egregious, Grizzly, when it's like you own the game and then you have a version running. But it's very problematic, and it's a very morally gray area, in my opinion. And I think that's all I personally want to say about it. But I appreciate the tip, and I appreciate you sharing that with the audience for sure. It's such a weird story. By the way, later on, we are going to be taking on calls live. I have the Discord set up. I think you can hit !Discord. I don't know if it works on YouTube. It used to on Twitch. Otherwise, you can just check the description. Now, all my stuff's out of date, all my bots and everything, but check the description. You can actually call in live to talk about the Kotaku story or whatever you want later. And yeah, so my 2 cents on the Kotaku stuff. It is way off base. It's not what I would have ever expected to see on Kotaku. And I was a little surprised to see it. And I feel like the dad, I'm very disappointed right now. I'm very disappointed in you right now. It didn't feel like it was for anybody. Like, I don't know who that article was for, except for to enrage people that would be mad about that. And some of those other articles I mentioned, they just feel like, is that truthfully your take? Like, you saw a buggy mess of Halo Infinite? Where was, like, it? I don't know. They're very good at their headlines. I'll say that, because I'm talking about it in a video. Everybody talked about this story. That's probably going to be one of their most popular stories ever. But it's sort of a question, and it reminds me even, what kind of storytelling do you want to be doing with your platform? Right? And I'm just kind of like, I always do the console analysis thing, but I've been called out for being a little sensational with my headlines and stuff before. I remember I did Xbox has a nasty DRM problem, and people were really, really mad about it. That I've done my stories where I talk about the one criticism Xbox still has to address. And I believe that stuff, I'm putting myself out there, and I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to get it wrong. I hope that's what's going on in Kotaku. I believe Patricia Hernandez in her goal to create a better outlet. I'm just shocked to see that there's this stuff coming out that is just so far off base, to the point that I have a conspiracy theory that it's purposeful so that they can release a study about clickbait articles. But it's probably not that. It's probably just whatever else is going on. Okay, let's go to the next story. The next story was about Destiny, and this one was about game preservation. I'll just bring up the article quick. The way I find these, by the way, I just go to Google. I type in Destiny angry fans, and then I find the thing that I'm looking for, right? So Destiny 2 fans angry as best expansion is being vaulted completely. Basically, Destiny 2 developer Bungie revealed yesterday that it plans to add the game's Forsaken expansion to the Destiny content vault when the game's 5th year kicks off in February 2022 with the release of the Witch Queen. People were mad. People were really, really upset about this. I'm still with IGN Food Witch. Oh, yeah, thanks. I'm glad you like watching my stuff. I really appreciate that everybody watches. For me, this is like my outlet to have a conversation with the viewers, but really it's just like, if I was able to talk to my friends in person, you guys or you people watching this, that's what I'd be doing. I'd just be talking about the news story. And I don't really have that outlet. This is a great opportunity for me to do that. It's an opportunity for me to talk about things that I see going on in the industry, my take on it, my personal analysis on it, stream of consciousness, vlog form, and I appreciate you all watching. I don't even know how many people are watching right now because I closed the thing. I appreciate that you're here if you're here. So Destiny fans were really mad about Destiny Content Vault, and this brought up a conversation about game preservation, and I was really challenged with this one. I've been publicly very, very hard on Bungie for how they have done a lot of their content in the past. I gave Curse of Osiris a very low review score. I gave Warmind a very low review score, and I gave Forsaken a 9 out of 10. And I remember when I reviewed the base game of Destiny 2, and I remember when I reviewed the base game of Forsaken, people thought that the review was paid for. And very prominent people in the industry actually put public tweets out there saying, Destin is a terrible person to review this. He's not objective. And every time I did a review, it was this constant questioning of my credibility and everything, to the point where I'm just like, I don't want to review this stuff anymore. I even to this date, I don't like doing reviews because reviews have become problematic. And I'm going to get back to the Destiny story here in a second. Reviews have become problematic because all that people reading reviews seem to want is reinforcement of their purchase decision and reinforcement that their belief is correct, that a game is good. So if you don't do that in your review, it's met with incredibly negative backlash. I remember there's this Game of Thrones game. I think George R.R. Martin wrote it, or he had some involvement. Anyway, it was terrible. It was this terrible game. I gave it a 4 out of 10. Google IGN Game of Thrones 4 out of 10 review. I did all of the capture and everything for it, and it was just awful. And I gave it a 4 out of 10. And then people came after me. And I'm like, I had very specific examples of how they copy pasted characters and all the characters were doing the same animation during cutscenes. I gave animations of characters like clipping through the world. I talked about the one aspect of it that was really great actually was the storytelling. The story told was really, really interesting in the Game of Thrones game. And it was before the Telltale stuff. But the gameplay is just like, it was just really, really rough. And when you review something like that, like, people don't care. Even though I give specific examples, even though I work on my craft of writing, and writing's not something that I do in traditional sense. very often. But I just got to this point where I realized people don't really want reviews. They want reinforcement of their ideas, or they want to see somebody like me play through a game on Twitch or on YouTube and talk about how I feel about it as I'm playing through it. And that's why I think the whole streamer phenomena, that's why I think the whole YouTube phenomena has really come up, because you don't want to know what one publication thinks. Like, you want to know what one individual thinks. At least that's my perception of how the industry's been going. You find something that you align with. Maybe you like me. Maybe you like other YouTubers. Maybe you hate me, but you're just here anyway, hanging out. And it was strange. So I just got to this point where I'm like, all right, I don't want to review stuff anymore. And then I think there was a very long gap. And then I ended up reviewing Crisis 2077, because Crisis 2077, I was doing the performance review for it, and it was in such a bad state. I was like, I have to review this. It is atrocious. This is one of the rare times where I have very specific examples of why it's atrocious, to the point that I need to share this. And I gave it a 4 out of 10 on PS4, and I gave it a 4 out of 10 on Xbox One. Console agnostic, it was a poor port. It's not, I think it's decent on Xbox One X, and it's decent on, probably on the PS4 Pro. It's decent, but on those base platforms, it's not a game they ever should have sold. And then on PS5 and Xbox Series X, it's fine, I guess, is what I would classify it as, but it's not great. It's the worst on those base platforms. Anyway, sorry, I'm totally off track from the Bungie thing that we were actually talking about. So this Forsaken thing comes out, and fans are upset because they're vaulting Forsaken, which is a fantastic campaign. I love what they did with Cade. I loved, following that story and seeing what happened with the character. And they're vaulting it. They're putting it in the vault. Now, Bungie a year ago said, and I'm paraphrasing my original video, Bungie like a year ago said, hey, we're going to start vaulting stuff. We have a different content direction. We want you to be able to say, we remember when X happened in their game. And for years, they were told, we want you to have more storytelling, more like Fortnite. And what Fortnite does is things happen in the world, and then stuff is just gone forever. Like the map's gone forever. So they did that. And now that they're doing that, they're getting criticism for doing that. So it's like they can't win. Now, this is a very precarious situation for them, because imagine you bought Forsaken like 5 years ago, and you log on to Destin, and you're like, oh, I want to play that Forsaken content I bought. It's going to be gone. Like, all of it's not going to exist anymore. You're just going to have the free version of Destiny. And in the terms of service, Bungie is very clear that they are within their rights to do it. But the argument that a lot of people online are making is it morally okay to charge people? And the content that they've charged us for is like $212.72 or something like that. And it's all gone. Like 9 of the expansions are gone. You can't access it anymore. It's why I made the YouTube playlist capturing all of those things. But it's not like this is the first time that has happened. I think Bungie's, like, if you look at Final Fantasy 14, there was originally a base version of Final Fantasy 14, and they just destroyed the world. Like, none of that's even there anymore, and you can't play that anymore. But they had a make good, and I think Bungie needs that make good for this content. Now, in an ideal world, I would be able to download the campaigns and at least replay them at my leisure, in the same way that Mass Effect allows you to replay Mass Effect 1 and only install Mass Effect 1, only install Mass Effect 2, only install Mass Effect 3, and then play from that point forward. That would be my personal ideal way to experience Destiny, but Bungie's been very clear that's not what they're going to do. They're going to put stuff in the vault. They're going to take it out. Now, the separate challenge is they've done that, and then they just kind of like, oh yeah, we did the Cosmodrome, and that's it. That's what you get. We're not going to do anything else to it. So the level of quality that we're going to get is also sort of in question about these returning items. I think one of their better projects has definitely been the Vault of Glass raid. The Vault of Glass raid is basically exactly how I remember it. We even get to see a little bit of Venus again in the intro. Oh, we could talk about the Battlefield 2042 beta. Mog says Battlefield 2042 beta was so much more fun than the Halo flight, which got boring after an hour. Hi, Phil Spencer. Good to see you. Thank you so much for making time to come into my chat. I like that your icon is just a super close-up image of your face. It's almost like the account's not real, but thank you for being here. I'll go along with this game. Phil, great to have you in chat. I appreciate you stopping by today. So let's talk about Mog, who preferred the Battlefield 2042 beta. Most of the conversations I've seen online about Battlefield 2042 has been delay the game. The game needs to be delayed. And I played it. I didn't have major issues with it. I'm not trying to stream it and play it. And I think OBS and gaming on the same rig is very taxing anytime you try and do it. So a lot of people that are encountering those problems are often streaming, and I have to wonder if that's impacting it a little bit. So yeah. Oh, hey, Jim Ryan's here also. Jim Ryan, I got to ask you a question about that $10. Jim, I want my $10 back, please. For the 2 games that I bought on PS5. That's $20 you owe me, sir. You don't need it. You can buy me lunch. How's that sound? So Mog says 0 issues on my Series X with Battlefield 2042. I think the common experience that I saw online is that it was buggy and that it was weird. It was certainly buggy, like ships were glitching all over the place, etc., etc. But I didn't have a terrible time. I don't know if it's going to be ready for what's the scheduled release date, November, December right now. I'm very concerned about that, because if what we experience is what we can expect for that release date, then that's a little worrisome. Kenneth, good to see you. I read your comment, and I've been more actively responding to members. I apologize for kind of lapsing on that. I had some personal stuff going on, so all good now though. So, I lost my train of thought. I didn't have a terrible time with the Battlefield 2042 beta. Yes, it was glitchy. Yes, it was weird. I just kind of ran around and tried to snipe people. I ended up getting a few of the tornado sequences. I don't know how that's triggered or why, but it happened and I was happy. I also don't know how to blow up the rocket. Stella told me you have to like shoot the vents. The vents like under the stairs you're supposed to shoot. Or what? I don't know. But it was cool, and that explosion and the sound design and how it's all happening sort of organically and in real time it's pretty cool, and I'm excited to see more of that. It's really interesting, but there's a lot of glitchy stuff, so it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to get back to a place where they need to be to launch a game like that. I personally think Halo was a much stronger experience than Battlefield 2042, but if you like Battlefield 2042, that's fine. I just kind of I definitely had more fun with Halo. I think Halo feels like it's in a better place than Battlefield, but time's gonna tell. We gotta see that full release, and that's my 2 cents on the Battlefield 2042 beta. Maybe I should lock in my thoughts and then make that my video for tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Talk about angry fans. I forgot about this one. So Ghost Recon announced Ghost Recon Frontline, but don't worry. It's going to feel different than all the other battle royales out there doing it. And here's the thing. Like, I was just like, I actually don't think it looks that bad. That's the quiet thing that I'm not supposed to say. It just looks like a battle royale. I think fans are angry because they want an actual Tom Clancy series again, and Tom Clancy just isn't Tom Clancy anymore. It's a different thing, right? And just keep telling Ubisoft with your wallet what you want, and by that I mean don't play these games if you don't want. I'm not gonna touch X Defiant, for example. I don't want to play it. I have no interest in playing X Defiant. Ghost Recon Frontline is right at that level where maybe I'll check it out for a game or two. I'm definitely not going to spend money in the game. I won't support that system. And we don't know what Division Heartland, I believe it's called, is going to be yet. But here's the thing. everybody's doing battle royale. So when I see all these people saying Halo needs to have a battle royale, I'm just like, oh, really? Do they? Does Halo need a battle royale? Do they really? Because I really don't think they do. I think they're just fine. Anyway, fans were mad because Ghost Recon Frontline is going to be a battle royale. The YouTube video has an amazingly negative response. Something like 10 thumbs up and 100,000 thumbs down. No, it's not that crazy, but it's pretty bad. It's like 10% positive, right? And 90% negative. So they announced that it's a new mode. It's 102 player match stuff. And then it's going to be different, they said. And I don't know. Everybody sort of reacted negatively to it. It isn't the first time Ubisoft has chased a gaming trend with the Tom Clancy franchise. Earlier this year, the publisher revealed Tom Clancy's X-Defiant, a 6v6 shooter that bore resemblance to Overwatch and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and none of us really responded positively to it. Here's my 2 cents on this. I think they're too late to the Battle Royale genre. They already tried it with some game I can't even remember the name of a year ago. And the fact that they're trying it again with... They're trying to get in on the shooter genre with X-Defiant, and they're trying again with Ghost Recon Frontline. Now, if you'll remember, one of their good games, Rainbow Six Siege, launched, and it was a bit of a rocky state. It has gone on to be one of the most massively successful games that they have ever developed. They have leagues, they have all this esports stuff going on, and it's an incredibly fun game to make. But these last few games have been certainly weird to announce. Everybody is basically saying, hey, I want a new I want a new Splinter Cell. I want stealth action. And they're just like, nah, we're not going to do that. It's like, what? So there has to be something there sales-wise. It's just sales-wise. People are supporting things by buying microtransactions. So like if you say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna support Fortnite by buying emotes in that game, and Fortnite goes on to make billions and billions of dollars, other people in the industry who have shareholders to respond to and profit margins to meet are going to look at those numbers and say, well, we need to do that also. It's why everybody tried to jump on the Destiny train with Anthem and such, and those haven't worked out so good. Games as a service are very difficult to do, and unless you're willing to stick with it, it's just it's really difficult to get right, so to speak. And talking about just like what Ubisoft is doing, it just feels weird. We'll see if Frontline works. I think X-Defiant is going to bomb just as hard as the other game that they did. And I don't say that with malice or envy. I just think it's nobody... Like, it doesn't speak to anybody. And when you release a game that's not speaking to anybody in the community, I haven't seen anybody talk about that game positively. And if there's no positive, like zero positive word of mouth from the hardcore or the core gamers, as you might say, then who's going to be playing it? Like just people that are looking for a free thing to try out. So you're going to have a very small user base playing those games. Servers cost money. I don't think they get the audience that they need to make it a sustainable franchise in the future. And that's why I think it'll flop. Yeah. It sounds derivative. X-Defiant sounds derivative. Ghost Recon Frontline sounds like a feeble attempt to make Ghost Recon relevant by making it a battle royale or just a carbon copy of Call of Duty. It doesn't feel interesting. It doesn't feel unique. And I think that's why there's such a negative reaction to it. The final story I had was a little bit more positive, but take it with a grain of salt. Halo Infinite campaign praised by Xbox boss. And Aaron Greenberg said, same here, Benji, got to play some campaign on Friday and been smiling all week. Aaron Greenberg works at Microsoft. He's like one of the main people at the company. So the fact that somebody at that level is praising Halo Infinite, just take it with a grain of salt, right? Of course, he's not going to come out and be like, yeah, and I played the campaign. I'm really like, what's Aaron Greenberg going to say? Hey, yeah, Benji, I played the Halo campaign on Friday and it's a disaster. Like, watch out. Aaron Greenberg's not going to tweet something like that. And if he did, don't pre-order the game. That's just not going to happen, right? So Aaron Greenberg played it. He's excited about it. That makes me happy. And the reason I was excited about this story is because it is literally the first time they've said anything about the campaign in months. They did they did the live stream where they were talking about their plans for it and how they hope it's going to do well. And that was sort of it. And then they've been campaign silent. They did say we would get more campaign stuff. We saw the what was it? Teaser or whatever for multiplayer story, and that looks really, really good. I liked what they were able to do with that. We saw the Chief thing not that long ago and the new Cortana, and I want to see what else they got. I'm very interested in the campaign. I'm excited to play it. Oh, we're going to do the call-in thing. I totally forgot. So, nobody's actually logged into the Discord, or I'm in the right one. So if you want to call in, we'll do the call-in thing now, because I'm basically at the end of the show. That was mainly all of the content I wanted to get through. Let me bring it up here. So I'll hop in live chat. Ooh, hacky sack, bam, the Halo hype is real. Yes, it certainly is. And let's see if I do this right. So boom, basically all my friends are talking about whatever they're talking about, New World and stuff like that. I've been a little obsessed with New World lately. A little too much. I'm level 40. So if you're playing that one, let me know. If you want to call in, check the description for how to do so. I'll hang out for a few minutes. And if you want to talk about any of the stories that I discussed today or anything else, this is your chance to hit me up and begin talking. So somebody in chat has made a Phil Spencer account, and they have also made a Jim Ryan account, and they're trolling each other. So that's honestly kind of, it's a little funny to me, as long as they keep it clean. I think they're just being jokey, right? Yeah, they're just joking around. Okay. 9 Lives. You can also just type in chat if you don't want to call in. 9 Lives says, thoughts on xCloud doing very well in Brazil. That is great news. I think that the technology is very strong, actually, because I play most of my challenges on the cloud, and I've played like the hunting game or whatever, and I was very surprised at how well it works. Like, I don't even notice after a while. So yeah. Enrique says, New World killed my 3090, forgot to cap my frame, so that's on me. Oof. Good tip. I will definitely be making sure I keep it at 60. I think I locked mine at 60. Like, I don't need my New World game to be doing 9,000 FPS. So 60 frames is just fine for me. That makes me really happy. I think Brazil having more access to games is going to be great. A lot of people have praised Microsoft for having that available as an option. And I'm happy to see it anytime. What other questions do we got here in chat? I'm gonna sign off and go say goodnight to my son if we got nobody calling in tonight. That's fine with me. Kind of do these a little bit haphazardly. Thanks for letting me talk about the Kotaku story. Whoa, my God. We had like 145 people watching. That's unexpected. Did I get a chance to play Metroid yet? I played the beginning. I killed the first Emmy. And so, yeah, I played like 5 minutes, right? And then I shut it off. I'm like, okay, it's great. I can play this. And I get my OLED on Friday, so I can play that later. I don't have a lot of time right now. I would like to hit 60 in New World. I'm like almost 41. So I'm on the way there. And then I will play after that. Oh, you can't join the Discord. All right. Well, here, let's try this. Let's see if this works. Boom. There's the Discord. 9 Lives. Thank you so much. I'll give you guys a little bit to call in. This is the part of the show where normally I would edit it down a little bit. The link expires every 7 days, so that's my bad. Oh, man. That stinks. So make sure you join the Discord for the next episode so that I don't make a mistake and forget to put in the new link. I'll just update this here. And let me make a new link for the Discord. Edit invite link. Just never. All right, there we go. Oh my goodness, like everybody stop watching. Sorry about that. I'm just fixing it. Oh, it's because I updated the description. Hi, everybody. YouTube, don't be mad at me. I'm just updating the description. Don't take my stream offline. Yeah, okay. And then I also have this one also. So, well, now I think I just broke everything. So hopefully this is still working. I'll give it another minute and then I'm going to go. No one's calling in and I'm just sort of floundering here. Way to end your disaster show, Legary. Hey, Mass, good to see you. Been a while, for sure. Just having a little bit of a disaster show here right now. See that everybody is signing in to the Discord and such. It'd be good to talk about what we expect from Xbox in addition to Forza, Halo, and Gears. Well, they have a lot of stuff confirmed for next year. You can look up that list. Maybe I should make that video again. What do you think Xbox will show at the Game Awards? All right, X-Wolf is here. X-Wolf is out. All right. I have no idea what they'll show at the Game Awards. How can I make PlayStation better for you? Don't charge $70 for your games when you're making more money than you've ever made in your life ever. That's what Jim Ryan in chat jokingly asks. How can I make PlayStation better for you? Pass along your success to your consumers. I think that would be that. Your games are great. I think PlayStation games are wonderful. They're technically impressive. And yeah, I think pass along the savings to your fans. All right, so hop in, calling in if you're calling in. I'll give you a second here and then go from there. Someone's messaging me on Discord. Sorry. All right, X-Wolf. All right, X-Wolf. Help me fill time here. What would you like to? How are you? Can you hear me? Is everything broken? Wow. I might just call it. I think I'm going to call it X-Wolf. I appreciate you calling in. I think I'm going to go, though. What do we got here? Hey, Ari. About to sign off. I'm going to talk to everybody else later. Thank you so much for watching the live stream. I'm going to try these more on Monday. Hopefully they get better. Dear goodness, because this one is not good. Let's see if Wozniak is able to figure out his microphone. He is currently muted, but maybe you can hear me. And then we'll bounce if that doesn't work. Nothing from Wozniak, aka Ari. I'm going to get out of here. This is off the rails today. I appreciate everybody who hung out, who called in. You're all wonderful. Join the Discord today. I changed the link to not expire so you can get joined. And next time I'm live, you're able to just call in if you choose to. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you soon. Bye for now, everybody.